Now, what about this argument about Christ's burial? Right? Because he's buried with him in baptism, risen with him in resurrection. So you say, well, then buried with him in baptism must be burial, must be completely covered. But we must remember, Christ's body was not immersed under the surface. We cannot take our current concept of how you bury a person underground, completely covered, completely underground. He was not buried beneath and into the ground, but sideways against a carved cave. It was a cave that they carved out of a huge rock or out of the side of a cliff. That's how they bury people, sideways. Right? It is not completely immersed under a ground. He was buried above the surface in the tomb. The emphasis is death. The emphasis is not about completely covered. The emphasis is death. Buried with him in baptism. What buried with him is Christ's death. The emphasis is death, not how much of your body is covered. Right? So we cannot take one verse, buried with him in baptism, and ignore the whole host. God's many, many examples of the mode of cleansing, the symbolic mode of cleansing from the Old Testament to the New Testament as sprinkling, all right? Right from the practices, you see that. Right from the possibility or impossibility, you see that. Right from the words come out of, it doesn't need to mean immersion.